Hello. Better? Okay, so I want to start this with an easy talk. So it's like an introduction to Numerai. So how many of you heard of Numerai before coming to this event? So not okay, half, say half, yeah. So okay. So hopefully this will give you like a brief overview of the tournament and all the cool stuff they're doing. So I'm not representing Numerai. I'm just a community member. So hopefully I'll get some details correct. But if I'm wrong, please correct me. Okay, James and yeah, I think we have two members of the Numerai team here today with us. So first of all, what the heck is this, right? You may go to the Meetup page or event page and then you saw this and then you have no idea what this is. But I can tell you this is very meaningful. This is like one of my most useful memes forever. And I want to tell you some story about this meme by doing these introductions to Numerai. Okay, so here we go. So a little bit about myself. You can call me Jo. My full name is Jo-fai Chow, but Jo is easier to remember. Yeah. So I do this for work. So I'm a data scientist at first, but I've been doing this Meetup organization for quite a while now. And I also like to do some 360 selfie like this. So this is part of my job as well. So I would like to do this with you all today, if that's okay with you. Yeah? Well, I have to mention, because in UK here we have a GDPR, so I don't have time to ask for your consent. So if you don't want to be in the photo, you have to duck. Take the photo, okay? This thing is not from MIT, so it won't be a erased memory. Hello. Talk about the goals for this meetup. So why do we have some events like this? So this is my from my original proposal. This is something that I discussed with John on the way to Numericon. So basically 3 points. The first one is to demystify Numerai. So many people know quite about Numerai, but they don't know much about the mechanism of the tournament. They don't know about the stacking element of it. So we try to do meetup like this, so you can talk to us, talk to some long-term players, and also talk to the team if you have a chance, right? This is also great for people to just sit down and try to do some brainstorming. So maybe you can kind of generate some new ideas, so you can go back and create some new models. That's the second goal. And the third one is most important, because we want to encourage, again, this face-to-face discussions, so we can actually talk to people for real, instead of doing Zoom. Right? These are the 3 goals of doing this meetup. And you will see today we prepared a series of talks. So starting from my talk is like for beginners, so this introduction of the Numerai tournament, and then we go to more and more advanced topics. So we have Alex for the beginner's guide, and then we talk about the signals. So John will talk about the signals approach with a long machine learning approach, and then we have Cookies talking about his signal models, and then we have James from a team to talk about how we actually turned the predictions result into real trading strategy for Numerai. And after that, we'll finish it with the fireside chat, so it's like a ask me anything for the Council of Elders.
But if you ask me something I don't know, you get beat up.
Okay, so what's Numerai? And because I don't know, it's one of the ways that I use to communicate with people these days, I use memes. So how many people like memes or use memes? Okay, you should understand what I'm going to talk about. So there's like a memes channel in our local chat, so you can also join because I contribute a lot to those memes. So that's my main contributions. But there's some meanings about using this name. So first of all, let's talk about the tournament. So this is actually like how I found out about the tournament during COVID, because I used to travel a lot for work, but I stopped traveling because of COVID, and then I stayed home and stumbled upon John's video online. So he talked about the tournament, talked about some tutorial, he of some notebooks, which is super helpful, and that's what I did. So I sat at home and tried to contribute to this hedge fund by doing a data science competitions. So what they provide is some obfuscated data. So there's like really expensive data that you have to spend a lot of money to purchase on your own. But they give it away by obfuscating the data, so you can actually use with some really high quality data to model the stock market. You may not know which stock that you are trying to predict, but there's enough information, which information in the data that you can create some good machine learning models and produce some predictions for the stock market. That's it. That's how we actually participate in this tournament. So we try to model it using their data, and we try to send the data predictions to them. They will create their own kind of signals. So James will talk about a lot more on how to create that strategy based on predictions later on. And this is my favorite part. It can be automatic for many months. So once you are happy with your main model, you do not have to retrain the model like every week. So for now, the submission deadline is for like every week, so it's a weekly tournament. So maybe at some point they will change it to daily. But for now, if you figure out how to automate your scoring pipeline, you can just forget about it. So I forgot about it for a long time, for many months. So just let it roll, and you will just submit predictions every week. As long as you are happy with your performance, you do not have to change a thing. So this is the mean for that. You can just relax and let it roll. But then here comes the reality, right? So in order to get the reward, this is again optional, but if you want to get the rewards, you have to stake NMR, which is the native cryptocurrency. So we have to get it from the open market and then put it into the wallet and stake on the models. So these are one of I think it's the best way which differentiates this tournament to many other data science competitions like Kaggle. Because when you stake on your model, you give them the signal of how confident that you are with your predictions. So the more confident you are, you stake a lot more to those models, right? And if your predictions are correct, or they have different metrics to measure how successful your predictions are, they will reward you with certain amount of MLR, the cryptocurrency. But you can also get burned, meaning that you can lose your cryptocurrency by submitting some bad predictions. So you have to be really careful of not overfitting to the data and try to generalize your model in the long term. And that's one of the key things for doing this tournament. Try not to overfit. Does it make sense so far? Oh, good? Okay. So this is like, this is not the case right now, but this is the early days, I would say, maybe a few years ago. Because XGBoost is such a really robust library, and many people find that it's easier to just tune the XGBoost in the early stage of the tournament to get good results. Because early on it was only measuring the success by correlation to the target. So it's easier to get a good performance model with just XGBoost. But now we've changed, so we'll talk about it a bit, because we have changed the metric a bit to define some unique signals from your model. So you cannot just rely on XGBoost now, you have to be more unique in a way to create your predictions. So these slides are from Numerai, it's actually from the Numerai team. So these are some of the targets that they used to have in the tournament. So they start with AUC first a bit, and then they change it to log loss and other metrics. But none of them are actually helping the fund. I think they find out this in a few years' time, because they have to do different kind of experiments, right? And then they have to generate a lot of predictions and then look at how different predictions actually help or hurt the fund. So to figure out these are not the best way to reward the users, so they change it to this thing called the true contributions, TC. So you may have heard about TC from discussion around. So this is what we talk about true contributions. Essentially what it is, it's just how useful is or are your models when you try to put everything together. Does it hurt the actual fund performance or not? They try to figure out a way to measure that. So if you're actually helping the fund, they want to reward you more in and out cryptocurrency. And if you are actually hurting the fund, they also want to burn your stake. So this is like a more direct feedback to the users, so they know that which models are actually helping the fund. And this is what we're trying to do right now. This is what we try to optimize our models right now. But that's not that's the easy part. I think again, if I go back to this meme here, this is how actually to describe Numerai, the mental model of Numerai in one meme. So you can imagine that different characters in these memes are models. So you can have XGBoost, you can have random progress, you can have neural network, you can have all kind of crazy models, right? So we all have different predictions. We have our different ways to express our predictions, our confidence of the stock market. But if everyone points to the same kind of stocks, the same signals, there is a good chance that these signals are the alphas or some of the most the edge that you can use it for the fund. And that's why we want to have a lot of different models in this meta model. So we want to encourage people to try different things, to be more unique, so to bring different things to the funds. So they're trying to encourage people not to use the same XGBoost model because it's not really helping the fund. And this is one of the things that we want to do as a Numerai player. So we try to be unique and also useful at the same time. But it's not easy, that I can tell you it's not easy. Because the metric here, the true contributions, you cannot optimize it directly using any kind of machine learning models because you don't have the information from the meta model and the actual trading information from the fund. So, but there are other ways we can kind of look at it. So we can optimize for FNC, which is the feature neutral correlation in this case. You can also look at the top and bottom 200. So it's the top end, the extreme end of the predictions, whether they are accurate or not for Numerai. But still, it's not like a direct optimizations that you can do on TC. So this is what everyone is trying to figure out right now. So what kind of model are actually doing well with TC? With different kind of metrics to help you to get that information. So, but it's not easy for most of us. But still, this means saying that we should not give up because we have been doing this for many years now. So John has been doing it since 2016. Am I right? 2016. So I've been doing this also for 2.5 years now. So we try different things. We try to optimize different targets. So the high efficiency, high feature neutral correlations, MMC, which is the previous kind of measure for how you need your model is. So it's the what's MMC now? I forgot the meta model contribution, something like that. I forgot. You remember MMC? Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So we we try to play with different metrics. So it's like a learning process for both Numerai and the player as well. So we try to do all this. So and we're really getting really close now to this kind of true contributions, which is the actual metrics that reflect how good our models are in terms of how good we can help with the funds. So we're almost there. So once everyone or most people kind of get a grip of the TC, I think the fund can continue to grow in a lot of different dimensions. So that's what I'm thinking right now for TC. It's not easy, but it's also fun to try different things to try to optimize it without directly optimizing it in the machine learning process. And that's another thing called signals. So this is like in parallel with the tournament. So the tournament, you get the data directly from Numerai, so you don't think about getting the data. But for signals, they will give you the universe, so they give you the actual stocks or liquidity that they want to trade, and you can collect data the way that you want. So you have John and Boogies, they'll talk about the tactics on doing signals later on. So that's another ongoing tournament, I would say, but it's different to the classic tournament, which you already given the data. So that's a really brief introduction to Numerai. So thank you. That's my motto. So the NMR Live chose me. I didn't choose it. So thank you. Any questions? All good? Nothing? Okay, go ahead.
So is it only on stocks or can you trade on options?
I think it's just only stocks, only equity, yeah. So no crypto, no other stuff, just stocks.
Can you short it or do you?
So yeah, the way that you predict, you create your predictions is like you rank the prediction. So you have maybe about 5,000 stocks in each weekly tournament. You rank them from 0 to 1. 0 means that those are the stocks that you want to short. 1 means the one you don't want to long. So that's how they use the signals. They want to get the extreme ends of both, so they'll figure out how to use it for long and short positions. Yes.
Stock market. Yes. Yes. U.S. stock. The answer is yes.
So mostly you can see from the signal universe. So most of the stocks are based on the U.S. stocks, but they also have other stocks to try to make it neutral to the country, the currency, and other stuff.
Each week they're picking the most liquid names that they are able to get a position in, and then filtering that through the universe. Because there's far more than 5,000 stocks that are tradable, right? But we don't really care about the main stocks. We don't really care about stocks that we're banned from trading in the States, right? We only want the most liquid stocks that we can possibly trade. And then we want to be able to enter positions on the short side, which is also true, right? So that's why there's so many, and it's also not the same stocks every week. Generally it is, but you're going to see some shift in the universe based on liquidity.
Thank you, John.
Oh, I have to. You're all in.
That's why we want him here, because he is the OG of Numerai. He knows everything. Yes, please.
So that's the model take into consideration features like transaction costs, or we can ignore those kind of features.
So for the classic tournament, I have no idea. So everything is obfuscated. So they always range from 0 to 1. So 0, 0.25, 0.5, 0.75, and 1. They always bins, like in 5 different bins. We have no idea. So you can have a good guess. You can have an educated guess. Could be momentum. Could be other stuff. That's like the most common way that you can create the features for financial market. But in truth, we don't know. They will never tell us. You can ask him. He will never tell you.
Okay, great. Thanks.
That's it.
Isn't liquidity like kind of a proxy to transaction costs?
Sort of, yeah. Because it's highly liquid, right? It's going to be cheaper. But, we don't have to concern ourselves with that. That's the beauty of it, right? Because if we had to worry about our position sizing, we would need tens of millions of dollars to make it make sense across that many stocks, right? Nobody in this room, I presume nobody in this room, is going to have enough liquidity and cash in order to open the smaller size positions in the first place. And so we are completely we don't care as a user base as to what it costs. They're just giving us the stocks we want to trade. And in signals, it's also very interesting, right? Because we do know the equities that way. But I still wouldn't trade them because we need a significant chunk of capital. But I can basically trade my portfolio, quote unquote, with as little as one Numerai. Do we raise 3 Numerai? I think it's 3 Numerai now for small stake size. But still, that opens up the world for people who are quant minded and then want to participate in the stock market in a whole new way. Yeah, it's pretty good.
And that's one of the good points. So we don't think about the trading cost, no. So we only think about Numerai, so MNL, the cryptocurrency, and all the other thing about that. So we kind of make it simple for us to get into the content by doing the data science conditions, and don't think about anything about the cost of the real trade. So that's actually one very nice one. A good thing that I really love about Numerai, and hopefully you will enjoy it too. Any more questions?
don't worry, if you're shy now, we're gonna do Alex and I will do a chat later, you can ask us anything.
Yeah. So hopefully you will find out more about Numerai, from the other talks as well. So this is me. Thank you again. Right. So next up we have Alex.
Well, if you wanna do a break, we're right away.